This is John Bush with the Live Free Now show. Got you a car version. I'm driving in my car right now on the way up to Jack Spirko's Survival Podcast workshop near Fort Worth, and was just listening to some Grant Cardone, 10X. I don't know if you're familiar with 10X rule, but that's something that's really got me excited about prosperity, building wealth. And so I wanted to do a video about mindset, and not just mindset, but massive action, and how we can manifest a better life for ourselves and our family and our community. And not just when it comes to prosperity, which is a big focus for Grant Cardone. You can find his work at grantcardone.com. It's really had a measurable impact on my life. Not just when it comes to prosperity and business, entrepreneurship, wealth, but also when it comes to having good health and not having chronic disease or sluggishness, fatigue. And finally, a great nexus for a lot of my work and my audience is what we can do to manifest more freedom in our lives and more freedom for our community. So, yeah, 10X by Grant Cardone. Let me know how I sound too. So I just got this headset a little while back, and I think it sounds a lot better in the car than while I'm driving. Or than when I don't have the headset. So yeah, really, mindset is critical when it comes to success in all areas of life. I'm a big believer in the law of attraction, or whatever the hell you want to call it. There was a popular documentary called The Secret that really enumerated the law of attraction. A lot of it comes from Buddhist roots too, like mindfulness. But essentially the idea is that our thoughts and our mindset helps to create our reality. And I really hold this to be true. So one of the greatest examples I have is a while ago I lived in a converted school bus with the mother of my kiddos and my two kids. And there were times when I felt I wasn't happy with that home for us. And I would look at it, and there was a lot of work that needed to be done. We got it. It was gifted to us, and it was in bad shape. And so we basically remodeled it as we lived in it. But there were times I'm like, man, I want better for my kids. This isn't ideal. It's small. There's so many upgrades that need to be made, right? There were other times, so that's how I viewed the bus. And that in turn became my reality. I felt uncomfortable. I was unhappy about it, right? Now, I want you to imagine the same school bus, the same converted school bus, but when I had a different mindset about it, when I had different thoughts, it completely changed the perception of the bus. Same bus, same physical object, right? But instead I thought, wow, having this school bus provides me and my family with the opportunity to travel the country. And we own our own home. We don't have a mortgage payment. We don't have rent. And there's so much things we can do to build and create our ideal living space. And we can pack up and move to another spot or stay with friends and travel the country, which we did. We did road trips, maybe about 4 of them across the country using Bitcoin and cryptocurrency only early on. And we got sponsorships. It was a great thing. And so again, the same physical object, a school bus, but completely different thoughts about it created all sorts of different feelings and sentiment around it, and really had a whole lot to do with my quality of life in relation to the school bus. So that can apply to just about everything in our lives. Let's talk about people's business life or financial life or employment in the context of COVID-19 and the lockdowns, right? A lot of people often say, like, COVID-19 has helped to cripple and collapse the economy or created a recession. It's not COVID-19 that did. It's the lockdowns. It's government lockdowns that created that. And so a lot of people went into a very strong victim mode, and a lot of people went into a very strong place of fear surrounding that. And in doing so, they kind of froze and panicked, and their mindset was one of fear, uncertainty, doubt. And so if that's the mindset that you're going to have, a victim reactionary mindset, then that's what you're going to manifest in your life. Contrast that with a proactive, with a excited mindset, with someone that focuses on and sees solutions in life and opportunities rather than focusing on problems. If you have the former mindset and you lose your job, for example, then you're going to be stuck in that place. And you know, a lot of times what you think, it really has a lot to do with your physiological state and your energy that you have. And so if you're in a place of fear and uncertainty, that leads to inaction and kind of being in an energetic position where you're just kind of wallowing, not moving forward, not plowing forward, right? So in that regard, it's that mindset, it's that headspace that you have that informs your actions. Now, contrast that with, okay, I lost my job. The world is really kind of crazy right now. But you know what? I believe in myself. And rather than focus on the problem, I lost my job, I'm going to focus on the opportunities today. I see that the world is changing. A lot of people are focused on digital, and there's this whole Zoom phenomenon, and people are staying home. What opportunity is there in that to provide goods and services to people, to help people? I tell you what, one job that anyone can do right now, anyone can do. Some people may need to come out of their shell if they feel that they're an introvert and become an extrovert. Being an extrovert will definitely enable you to be in front of more people, to feel more confident and comfortable. Social animals, and oftentimes to find success, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier if you step in that extroverted space. But one thing, a great opportunity anyone can have that lost their job is train people how to use Zoom. There's a whole lot. This has been a job opportunity for quite some time with older folks in the boomer generation that don't yet grasp how to use technology, social media. Everybody's having to use Zoom now. A lot of people are struggling with it. I had a learning curve myself. So if you have a mindset of defeatism, of victimhood, then you don't pick up on those opportunities. Rather, you sit and wallow and feel frustrated, and you're not ready to take action. My personal position going into the pandemic with my business, I had been slamming on this guy, Grant Cardone's work, and I had a whole lot of momentum, and I had that mindset, and I was taking massive action. So my business has actually grown since the start of the pandemic, and I know a lot of people who are in that same circumstance because they don't become the victims of the circumstances that are taking place in our world. They are in control and in the driver's seat of their lives. So if there's a pandemic, if there's economic calamities, if there's discord in relationships, they are masters of their domain, charting their course, keeping their eye on the prize. Whether Biden or Trump is in office, right? I did a podcast a few episodes back. You keep your eye on the prize. So it's just all about mindset. It starts with mindset, but it doesn't stop with mindset. There's a lot of the law of attraction kind of new age community that leaves out the important aspect of massive action. So you got to get your mind right, get your mind correct, get your eye on the prize, believe in yourself, stay positive, stay focused, but you also have to take massive action. And so massive action is really important when it comes to all this stuff. You got to take action. You got to build habits. You got to grow. Let me see. I need to exit 35 West here on going to Fort Worth. Okay, now let me cut over to health. Health is an extremely important aspect of our life if we want to live a good life, if we want to live a free life where we're not dealing with so much chronic pain and chronic fatigue, all sorts of stuff. We really have to believe in ourselves and visualize a better body, more energy so we can play with our kids and not get worn out or have our back hurt because they want us to throw them around in the pool, right? And so it all starts with believing in yourself, visualizing, focusing, right? Knowing. So maybe there's people that feel a little unhealthy or they're not happy with their weight, and they just focus on the weight all the time, and they feel insecure, they feel fat, and they don't feel like, I don't feel like I could go to the gym, people are going to judge me, right? It's because you're focusing on the now rather than projecting a better reality. If you focus on and you visualize, visualization is a huge thing. Like people do their vision boards where you go to magazines and pictures and you cut out stuff that you like. Like if you want to get a dream house, for example, find houses similar to your dream house, look at it, and just visualize yourself there. In doing so, you help to create that reality. So rather than focusing and being insecure about the state of one's body or one's health, you can visualize having optimal health and optimal energy and that chiseled abs, right? And focus on that and feel motivated and pulled rather than being pushed away from feeling insecure and overweight and unhealthy, being pushed away. Allow your ideal vision for yourself to pull you towards it. And that's going to give you a lot more motivation to get out there and in turn take the massive action, the exercise, the diet, right? Diet changes are a huge part of it. You are what you eat. And to change your habits. Habits are so monumental when it comes to actually changing your life. There's this great book called The Power of Habit, and it really breaks down the different components of habits and how habits can impact our lives and how we can change our habits. And really, you can take action, you can have the right mindset, but it's not until you create a habit, which is something that you do regularly, you do without thinking so much. It doesn't take much energy to do it. It just becomes a part of your life. That's a critical thing, to focus on these habits. And so when you have the mindset and you're focused, you can enter a realm where before you accept that extra slice of cake or the first slice of cake, or before you reach for the cookies when you're at the grocery store, you have mindfulness, you're aware of your goals and where you want to be, and you notice that in doing this action, it would be inconsistent with what I have set my mind to, with my ideal vision for myself. There needs to be, Dan Kennedy, this marketing guru, called it congruency in your actions. Back to the prosperity thing. If you're sleeping in, or if the alarm goes off and you have that little, you're awake, you're conscious, and you make a choice to hit the snooze button, that's not congruent with achieving your highest goals, with getting up early so you can exercise, with getting up early and reading that book about success or about growth or whatever it is that you're into. So try to be conscious of that. Anytime there's an inconsistency with you and your present self and you and your ideal self, then notice that, take note of that, and make changes in that realm, right? So that's a lot of the health stuff has to do with creating habits, exercising, changing your diet, and just being aware and conscious. And again, the important thing, mindset is so important. Focus, be pulled by your ideal vision of yourself rather than being pushed or feeling uncomfortable, insecure about where you're at right now. And at the end of the day, a lot of mindset is like, don't be hard on yourself. Try to be your best friend. That internal dialogue, a lot of this has to do with the internal monologue that we have. Really, it's a dialogue where it's our inner voice, and our inner voice has been informed by our parents, society, school teachers, girlfriends, ex-wives, whatever. If we can become conscious and mindful and control that inner voice, then we can utilize it for our betterment. So a lot of success and change, self-improvement, I really want to encourage people to be good to yourself, be kind to yourself, be gentle to yourself, be patient with yourself, and not to be hard on yourself, or again, focus on that which doesn't sit well with you. Focus on where it is that you're going and your goals. Write down your goals. Focus on your goals. Write down your goals every single morning. Write your goals as though they're already accomplished, right? So I can run an 8-minute mile, or I can run 3 miles straight without taking a break. I have chiseled abs, or I do not eat desserts for every meal. I don't know, whatever. And then same thing with the money. I earn $1.5 million a year, or I am able to give approximately this much to my church or my favorite charity. Really focus on those things and focus on the why, right? A lot of it's not like, I want to lose weight. Don't lose weight just so people think more highly of you, right? Like, lose weight so you have more energy, so you're more healthy, so you're able to live a longer life without chronic health problems and enjoy the upbringing of your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren, right? Same thing with wealth. Like, don't focus on earning more income just to make more money and be rich, or like be a upper class or whatever. Focus on making more money because it will enable you to go on vacations at nice places with your family and not have to squirm when the restaurant bill at the hotel comes, right? Focus on having a legacy and building wealth that can carry forward doing good things in this world long after you're dead, right? That's an important part of it as well. And now I end on manifestation when it comes to freedom. So I have concerned myself with liberty and freedom for many years now. And I have noticed how a lot of people tend to focus on the tyranny in the world, the COVID tyranny, the threat of mandatory vaccines, the New World Order, the United Nations Agenda 21, the Great Reset, right? And admittedly, I talk about this stuff, cover this stuff. But it's always in the context of understanding the enemies of liberty so that we may better opt out of their system, so that we may better avoid this tyranny and control. So I tell you what, this is something I picked up on. I used to listen to Alex Jones all the time back in the 2000s until I realized that he was kind of a megalomaniac, and then I stopped listening well before he took this hardcore right-wing turn and really became a little more xenophobic. And he used to be against the left-right paradigm, then he started buying in and reinforcing the left-right paradigm and division. But I noticed that a lot of the focus and the tone of his conversation, he would lead his listeners to believe that the New World Order is omniscient, it's all-knowing, it's omnipresent, it's everywhere, and it's omnipotent, it's all-powerful. And that leads to people feeling defeated, angry, angst, right? So while we can't be naive and avoid better understanding and researching this behemoth beast system, we need to examine it in the context of how can we overcome it, how can we work our way through it. And what we really need to focus on is our ideal freedom, our ideal society, our ideal way to relate and interact with our fellow human beings. Let's get our eye on the prize, which is a genuinely free society, whether it comes in the form of seasteads or the eco-village community, the couple hundred acres that you and your community buy and build your own free city. Or maybe it's going up to Mars eventually and colonizing a section of it, or just living free up there. Or maybe we carve out our own agora where we can peacefully coexist with the statists that aren't going anywhere. Also, a great thing to do is to focus on the freedom that we have in our lives. Again, not in like, well, at least we have this much freedom, or in some subservient lick the boot way of like, well, it's better than North Korea, or you have more freedom than you think. On Veterans Day, right? Everyone's like, the veterans fought and died for your freedom, but really that's not what took place. And it's not government that gives freedom, nor is the U.S. military that oftentimes, I want to honor folks that go and sacrifice their well-being, but oftentimes it's misguided because it's the military that is actually subservient to the transnational corporations, international bankers. It's more about hegemony and power and control and profit from cartel capitalism than it is protecting freedom. But I want to talk about how free we are in our lives. If you notice, most of the choices that you make in your life are free and based on spontaneous order, not coercion or government control. Now, there's a whole lot of it, right? For example, I'm driving down the highway right now, and a good majority of the time I'm going higher than the speed limit. There is a government that has threats of coercion to ticket you and take you before a judge if you don't obey the speed limit. But a lot of people just choose to ignore that and live free, and it's more about spontaneous order. Choose what you put on your clothes. You choose what human beings you interact with and relate to. You choose what kind of food you're going to eat, right? And when you can step into that mindset, you feel more empowered. You feel more like a sovereign. So if you're constantly focused on all the tyranny, then you're going to feel like a slave, and you're going to manifest tyranny and slavery in your life. If you're constantly focused on the beauty and wonder and freedom and spontaneous order that's all around us, like Jeffrey Tucker, it's just so amazing that everything that goes into a traffic stop without any lights, spontaneous order. Nobody wants to harm themselves. They want to live their lives, and it's just a very beautiful thing how they can all come together without crashing into one another, just experiencing true freedom in their lives. It's my Jeffrey Tucker impression. But for real, if you focus on the freedom, you'll find more freedom. If you focus on the tyranny and slavery, you'll find more slavery. Perfect example, the mask thing. For a good while now, I've been completely over the mask. really a big turning point was when the city of Austin a month or two ago announced that they were going to continue the mask mandate through December. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? And then the more I understand the Great Reset and how the COVID thing is like a clever marketing plan for the vaccine and the rolling out of the fourth industrial revolution, it's all about control. I didn't want to buy into that. Not to mention I'm a healthy guy, as I talked about earlier. I talked about health, not going coughing on everyone, whatever, but I digress. Somebody had this great Facebook post, and they're like, I don't wear a mask, and I don't get into arguments with the clerk. I don't get into fights with the customers because they go into the situation not with the mindset of fear, uncertainty, anger, all the sheeple. Oh, I dare one of them to say something to me, or what am I going to do if they say something to me? I feel so uncomfortable having these types of altercations and arguments, disagreements in public with strangers. If you go into it thinking about that, then you're going to come off with a posture of like, maybe your eyebrows will be a little bit down. Maybe you'll look at someone cross. You'll just have that energy and you'll attract like energy. Contrast that with my strategy and what this guy does. You go in smiling, wave to people, give people compliments, be a happy guy, be a courteous person. Go in with the understanding that you're a free human being and you have the right to breathe God's air and go about your business. And in general, be a friendly person that likes to get along with other human beings. And in doing so, you're less likely to manifest the Karen that's going to scream at you, or the clerk, or the person that's checking for masks at the front of the business that's going to give you a hard time or break your balls. Act like you own the place, walk in there, and be a free person. And chances are you're going to be okay. It's the same thing with all of our lives. Let's focus on the prize. Let's keep our eye on the prize, a genuinely free society. Let's take massive action towards that end, not just wait for a politician to save us or for Donald Trump to kill the deep state, or all the Q people are just waiting another 2 weeks for all these massive arrests to happen, just like the COVID people with the spike in cases. It's only a matter of 2 weeks before all the deaths are going to happen. Go out and grab the bull by the horns. Don't wait for Flynn and all these secret operatives to save you. On the flip side, don't wait for Obama and Biden and the DNC machine and Democrats to create equality. Go out there and create it yourself. And in our context with libertarians, like, let's go carve out our little piece of the world to be a free society. Let's start engaging with our fellow liberty voluntarists, crypto anarchists, agorists, and let's live free for the good majority of our lives. Let's do it. We have the opportunity right now. There's no reason why we should not be doing this. Let's focus on freedom. Let's focus on spontaneous order. Let's focus on our community that gets it, that's aware of what's going on, that understands the philosophy of liberty. And let's let the masses go about following along subserviently. That's not what we're about. Let's focus on the good things in life and not focus on the tyranny and slavery. All right, I think I'm going to wrap up here so I can put my maps back on. My Google Maps being tracked and traced by the Fourth Industrial Revolution technocrats. Man, need to get the old school paper map out. It's all about convenience versus liberty. It's always that struggle. Today we talked about the importance of mindset and how your thoughts can help create your reality, and how the energy that you hold yourself to can attract like energy. So when it comes to wealth, if you're focused on the economy and unemployment and how you're afraid and I'm struggling, I can't provide, I'm not providing, if you're focusing on that, it's going to dictate your actions and the way that you see the world. You're going to see a scarce world. You're not going to see opportunity. You're going to be focused on the problem. Contrast that with an abundance mindset rather than a scarcity mindset, and you're going to see opportunities. You're going to see solutions. You're going to be motivated. You're going to have momentum to get out there, grab the bull by the horns, and create your own economy that is insulated from the politicians of the day, from the circumstances of the day, COVID and everything. There's plenty of opportunity still in the world. There's plenty of money all around us. Focus on that rather than what you don't have. Focus on what you have. Be grateful, as someone says in the comments. Gratitude is key. And then focus on where you're going and what you want to get. When it comes to health, don't feel insecure. Don't focus on feeling overweight or unhealthy. Focus on where you want to be and what your goals are for health, for weight loss, for energy. Focus on that. make new habits in your life. Your mindset, be mindful, see when there's inconsistencies in your actions and what your goals are, because you're focused on your goal. That's where your mind's at, not on the problem. So when you reach to go buy the Oreos at the grocery store, you think, oh, I know if I buy this pack, then I'm going to eat them all, and that's not in line with my goals and my ideal vision for myself. I'm trying to strive to be the best me I can be, so I'm going to put that back. And instead, I'm going to get some grapes. Those grapes, there's some damn good green grapes that we've been getting lately. They're like freaking candy. I got to lay back on them because there's so much sugar. It's all about mindset. It's all about creating new healthy habits, being mindful, taking massive action. Also, one thing we talked about was, for all of this stuff, don't focus on having more money for the sake of having more money, or losing weight for the sake of losing weight. Focus on losing weight because it'll give you more energy. It'll give you more years of good life, good living, healthy living, so you can enjoy your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren. Don't focus on money for the sake of being rich or having money. Focus on money because it'll enable you to take the vacation that you always dreamed of in the Bahamas with your lover or your wife or your husband, and not have to squirm at the check when it comes, or to take your kids to freaking Universal Studios, Orlando, Florida, for Harry Potter World. That's what we did recently. The damn trip was a whole lot of money, but because of massive action, because of abundance, and I did have that squirm. I'm still not at that place where I don't, oh man, this is some expensive food at this joint, but I'm mindful of it. And whenever I think that, I think, no, don't be, and we're like, oh, $14 or $16, that's an expensive meal. $16 is a lot of money. And then it's like, is it a lot of money in the grand scheme of things? Really? And you're not paying for, don't think about the money, think about the experience and the magic. That's really what it's all about. And the smile on your kid's face is worth well more than $16 to sit down at the themed restaurant, buy the expensive little butterbeer drink, right? It's all about the magic, what you're getting out of it, not spending the money or having the money. It's not about losing weight for the sake of being slim. It's about having good health so you can have a good quality of life, right? When we talk about living free, let's not focus on the tyranny in the world. Let's not focus on the COVID lockdowns and restrictions. Let's focus on the freedom that we have. And let's focus on the community that we are building. Like-minded people that are ready and willing to live free with us, to engage in outside the system transactions, activities, to go to a meetup, to go have a little get-together at someone's party, even though the government says no. Focus on driving 10 miles over the speed limit, even though the government says no. You're living your life. We're living free as much as we can. And let's keep our eye on the prize and ultimately genuinely free society, which we can attain. If we believe that we can attain, if we have the right mindset about it, we can get there. If we focus on struggle and the tyranny and the slavery, then that's what we are going to manifest. Focus on the freedom, the abundance, the health, the ideal life, the ideal self. That's what we'll reach. All right, I'm here for you. John Bush. Check me out at livefreenow.show. Just did a great interview with Derek Broze. If you haven't heard that one yet, it's there at livefreenow.show. Peace and freedom. I'm out. Thanks.